right. All right. Warm welcome, everybody, on this call tonight. We had an amazing experience from last week. With a couple of people, we went to Thailand and we saw the machines operational running. After that, we had a very good leadership treatment in Pattaya, where we had a lot of beautiful things, beautiful days. We see that we had a lot of beautiful information, and tonight we want to share a lot of information with you. Especially guests for tonight, we have Jay, the CEO of Corsair Group International, and I know that he will explain a lot of things. So without further ado, let's introduce Jay. Jay, you are here. You can unmute yourself. Warm welcome in this group, and let's see what kind of information you want to share with us. And I know for sure that will be amazing news, amazing things what I think that everybody should know. We had a notice of that one last week in Pattaya, so I'm really excited to hear the latest news and to share it with all of you. So Jay, are you there?
I am here, Rene. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody.
Hi. So the stage is yours, Jay. If you want to share your screen or something like that, the stage is all yours. We have, yes, there you are.
Very good. Well, first of all, thank you everybody for joining us on this call today. We had, as you have heard, a fantastic event week here in Thailand a few days ago, weeks ago, during which a lot of information, new announcements were made, and obviously we had the pleasure of having many of you guys that I can see here in the call as well, joining us and being part of the celebration of the company's progress over the last few months. Now, what I'm going to do during this call is to walk through with you in more detail some of the main announcements and the news that were made during the Vision 2025 week. Starting off from the topic, which I know is very important for a lot of us, and if you've been with us in this business already for some time, you know what this one already means, but I will talk about this a little bit more detail in the later, further part of my session today. But let me just start off the conversation by saying that the countdown has officially started. What does it mean? Stick to the end of the call and you'll find out. Now, one of the most important things that you can expect to happen in the next couple of months, and something that we announced during the event, is the rebranding of Amplivo. Now, Corsair is a brand that we created in 2020, and obviously it's a brand that we all love and we like to associate ourselves with. Whereas the Amplivo brand is something that we sort of inherited by taking over the Amplivo company in 2021. Whereas the Amplivo brand is, of course, a very important one and it has served us very well, it has come time to retire that brand, and by doing so, align all of our efforts under one unified name. And therefore, we felt that it is now the right time to take this step where we are going to gracefully retire the Amplivo brand and reintroduce our business to the world under a new name of Corsair Connect. Basically, by doing this, the network, which is a very important, very big part of the entire Corsair group, will now begin to carry the same brand and the same name. And we do believe that by doing it in this way, we will be much, much more stronger and unified and aligned as we move forward into the future. Therefore, Corsair Connect will be the name of the network and the marketing arm of Corsair. It's important that we highlight that this will not change in any other way of how we do the business or how your network is being operated or how that part of our operations generally works. It will only be a rebranding of the name. We are also going to advertise this name change over the next weeks all over social media and online, just in order to avoid any kind of confusion or possibility that somebody could say that, hey, we're changing the name because of this and that and blah, 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 whatever. So basically, we want the world to learn that we are aligning these brands, and this is a step that will only make us stronger as we are moving into the future. So that was one of the important announcements that was done during the Vision 25 event week, and I wanted to bring that up and share with you more information about that as well. Another important announcement that was done was the introduction of Corsair Pay. What is Corsair Pay? Corsair Pay is a payment platform which will change and significantly improve the way how transactions of money are being made into Corsair Connect or out from Corsair Connect. We as a company had been looking for a payment gateway and payment platform already for quite some time. And we've even had negotiations and discussions with a number of payment providers. And earlier this year, we were then given the opportunity for us to become a partner and a shareholder in an existing digital bank. What does this mean? Well, our friends at Eurivex, who are our capital markets partners, they own an already existing digital bank located in Canada. With digital bank, we mean something of a so-called EMI, as an electronic money institution, similar to, for example, Revolut or some of the other digital banks that you might already be a customer in. But this is not something that is something new that we are creating or we are developing, but instead it's an already existing digital bank where Corsair is now becoming a shareholder of. The bank has been operating already for a number of years, and they are, for example, already at this moment processing about 10 million euros of transactions on a monthly basis. Excuse me. So this means that Corsair will now become partner in this bank, and we are going to rebrand its operations into Corsair Pay. Corsair Pay will work exactly as you expect it to do, which basically means that you will be able to open up an account like you would open up into any other bank. And then you will be able to make transactions to your Corsair Pay account from your bank accounts or from your credit card, whatever you want to do. From your Corsair Pay account, you will then be able to make transfers to other accounts, other Corsair Pay accounts or other Dutch or German or Belgian bank accounts, whatever you would do, exactly like you would do from any other normal bank account. Now, when we pay commissions from Corsair Connect, from Amplivo, these commissions will now be made available for you to withdraw also into your Corsair Pay account. We will also provide you later next year debit cards, which you can then use to spend your money on your Corsair Pay account by using the card on the ATM machines or paying it in stores or using it online, exactly like you would do with any other bank. But I do think that this is again, a great display. It's a great example of the direction where we are moving as a company. Not only are we now talking about having our own payment gateway, but we as a company are now going to be owning our own bank. And this is quite exciting when we think about the development that we've seen over the last months and over the last years and where we are heading as a company, where something like this was just a dream and a kind of an idea and vision just a few years ago. And myself and Rene and some of the other people, we were just talking about that it would be interesting or it would be great if we would have something like this in the future. And now it's very much a reality. Our target is obviously to bring everybody to Corsair Pay and then create that as a big part of our general daily business operations. But this will be launched after the new year, together with the launch of the new back office for Corsair Connect or Amplivo. Now, interesting and very significant announcement that was also done during the Vision 25 event was that we as a company are now recognized at the Climate and Sustainability Capital Forum at the United Nations. So what does that mean? It means that Corsair as a company and our work has now been recognized as a sustainable supplier in the United Nations. This announcement, which was one of the many announcements that was done at the event earlier this month, could have been by itself the main announcement of the event. I can't emphasize the importance of this announcement and the significance that it will have for us as a company. And kind of like now us becoming partners in a bank, the fact that we as a company are now recognized at the United Nations is quite significant. Again, just showing again and again the direction where we are moving as a company. So there will be more information shared regarding this as well, and what does it state and what kind of things will come out of this. But it's another example that our work is being noticed, our work is being recognized, our work for cleaning this planet from plastic pollution is being valued, at some of the highest levels in the world. And this recognition that has now been given to our company is a great example of that work that we're doing. So something for all of us to be very proud of. Now, as we are moving forward with our business, and again, something that we feel as a natural step in the growth story of our company is for us to now finally open up the opportunity for the public to join our growth story. Corsair Capital is something that we have been working for several years, and I know that it has been long waited, but there really is not a better time for launching the Corsair Capital opportunity than right now. But I am extremely happy to tell you that the Corsair Capital investment opportunity is now officially open. And in the next coming days and the coming weeks, there will be a lot of information being shared on this, on how this is all going to work and being rolled out. But let me explain you today in more detail what is Corsair Capital, what does it mean, and what are the benefits and the opportunities that investors now have with Corsair Capital, and also how you as a member of the Amplivo community are able to benefit from Corsair. So first of all, Corsair Capital is a public company based in the Netherlands, and it is a subsidiary of the Corsair Group of companies. Corsair Group, which is the entire structure of today more than or approximately 30 companies around the world, which all operate under our international holding company, also based in the Netherlands. Corsair Capital is an investment gateway. It's basically a door, an entrance for investors from the public markets to invest and to become part of the entire Corsair. Now, since launching Corsair as a company in 2020, we have never sold any shares from the international holding company, which still today are and is 100% owned by the original founders. Corsair Capital is now, as a company, also a shareholder of the international holding. And for an investor to become a shareholder in Corsair Capital now gives that investor the opportunity to own part of the entire Corsair Group of companies. Everything that we have built so far today and everything that we will be building in the future. Corsair Capital, being a public company and having its financial investment offer now approved by the approximately, 27 European Union member states, is now legally allowed to offer its investment opportunity in every single European Union country. Now, there's a couple of quite historical things here. First of all, this will be a first time that investors from the public will now be able to become shareholders in Corsair Group. That's first. Something else that's happening for the first time is that we, as a network marketing company, are now officially the first in the world that are legally allowed to offer investments to the public. Anything like this has never been done before. Now, let me explain you the steps very carefully, what is going to happen next, and what the opportunities are that are involved. First of all, as part of our Vision 25 event week, we had approximately 100 members of the Amplivo community that received a initial training here in Thailand in order for them to represent the Corsair Capital opportunity. We have now finalized the agreement that is being sent over the next 1 or 2 days to all of these individuals who received this training. I want to highlight that only and only the individuals who have a signed agreement with Corsair Capital are the ones who are allowed to talk about investing. Very important. Only the individuals who have signed an agreement with Corsair Capital to become an agent are allowed to talk about the investments. Everybody else are advised to simply refer any interested potential investor to the landing page, which we will share for you, where all the information will be available in public, or to talk to a person in your upline who has been trained and who has that agreement allowing them to advise and to talk about the investment. Now, Corsair Capital as a company is now licensed and allowed to advertise the opportunity publicly in TVs, in newspapers, online, social media, whatever. And the individuals that have the agency agreement are permitted, are allowed to represent Corsair Capital as a company and to do the same thing. But this is only the people that have this agreement in place. Everybody else should only advise a potential investor to visit the landing page or to connect with an individual who has the agency agreement. Now, this is something that we have to be very cautious with, and we have to follow these steps carefully in order to make sure that we operate according to the regulations and we follow the rules that are there involving this opportunity and generally the crowdfunding rules of European Union. Now, we have a document called Key Investor Information Summary, which will be made available for all interested potential investors. This is the legal document that has now been approved by the financial authorities in all European Union countries. And this document also explains the projected returns on investment, introduces the actual investment opportunity, and also introduces the risks that are involved with this investment. This document is the official legal document that every investor will have to legally agree to while making the investment into Corsair Capital. We are going to be sharing step-by-step information about the whole process in the coming days. This is the week that the opportunity will now be opened. So you don't have to worry about not knowing everything about it today. There will be a lot of information shared, and the individuals who are interested to participate will have the opportunity to do so. Now, by becoming a shareholder in Corsair Capital, you have the opportunity to be part of the growth story of the company. It has been projected that the value of these shares in Corsair Capital will be growing in the coming months and in the coming years in value. And additionally, when the entire group is looking to enter the public stock market, which our intention is to do in the New York Stock Exchange in the next couple of years, the shareholders of Corsair Capital will also be able to use those shares as a method of participating into the as we call it, the pre-IPO, the pre-initial public offering of Corsair on the stock market. This is also explained in the key information investor summary, which will explain this potential benefit for a Corsair Capital investor as well. For you as a member of the Amplivo community, by advancing in your star rank career program, you also have the opportunity to earn shares in Corsair Capital free of charge. In the beginning of next year, after the new year, we will, for the first time ever, begin to distribute these shares for the ones that have already qualified since last year. But in other words, basically what it means is that when you advance, for example, to the 3-star level and further, with every single step, you are actually earning free of charge shares in Corsair Capital. Corsair Capital shares also pay a dividend. So as the company continues to expand its operations with new factories and new production and increased amount of oil that we're selling to our customers, this generates profit for the company, which is then being paid out for the shareholders. And that means that the shares in Corsair Capital are expected to not only grow in value over the coming years, but also to generate a dividend payment annually. So there's a lot of interesting opportunities there. And if you are yourself interested of becoming a shareholder in Corsair, which is obviously much recommended, then this opportunity will now this week become open. And also anyone from your team, anyone from your contact network who is interested of becoming part of this growth and our journey will also be able to do that by participating as a shareholder. Now, I do want to highlight that the Corsair Capital opportunity is a sort of a limited time extra, let's call it like a bonus project. It is not meant to, and it will not in any way replace what we do on our day-to-day basis. It is not a replacement for the sales of the plastic waste removal service. I just want to be very clear on this. This is a short time, short window opportunity that will be available only for a limited period, once per year. And once that window has closed, then that opportunity will be gone for the rest of the year. What is this window? This window is limited altogether to 5 million euros that Corsair Capital is legally allowed to raise from the retail market. Investments will be possible from 100 euros starting from up to 100,000 euros. And we are allowed to collect, to raise altogether 5 million euros per calendar year through these operations. Once the 5 million euros has been gathered, it has been raised, the opportunity is closed for the rest of the calendar year. So that's why I want to highlight that this is not going to replace in any way what we do on our daily work with the sales of the plastic waste removal service. It will be a sort of a bonus that will be done on 4 consecutive years, starting from 2025, and then 26, 27, 28, and after that, it will be permanently closed. That's basically how the opportunity works. With every investment that is being made, there will be commissions paid into the Amplivo network. So anyone from your downline making the investment and becoming a shareholder in Corsair Capital will also generate commissions into the network. The commission will be smaller than what we do from the typical sales of the plastic waste removal service, but it will be paid exactly the same way. There will be unilevel commissions and matching bonuses and Infinity Star bonuses. Everything will be paid normally, but from a slightly smaller amount of the actual investment amount. Even from this one, we're going to be sharing more details for you guys during this week. Now, in the beginning of this call, I mentioned that the countdown has now started. So what does that mean? It means that the allocation period of CSR 25 plastic credit is now coming to an end. Basically, what it means, in other words, is that in the beginning of 2026, after the new year, we will be able to look back and finalize and identify the total amount that will ever be in circulation of the CSR 25. Basically, by the end of Friday, the 2nd of January, every single sale of the service package done by the end of that week will be generating eventually CSR 25 plastic credits. And after the 2nd of January, there will never, ever again be another CSR 25 created. Basically, it means that we will be able to identify the total amount of circulation that will ever be in existence. And once that has been done, there will never be another CSR 25 added into that amount. That's it. And from that moment onwards, with every single retirement that is done by a company or a private individual, that amount of circulation will become smaller and smaller and smaller. In the same way, every single time when Corsair sells a liter of oil to our customers, like for example Shell, money from that oil sales is now going into our buyback program, where we now buy back CSR and CSR 25 plastic credits from the open markets at any available rate. Basically, it means that every single liter of oil that is being produced is creating more and more and more money into the buyback program, and continuously now reducing the circulation of CSR 25. Additionally, as was announced during the Vision 25 event, we are also adding something quite interesting into the buyback program. Now, I'm going to talk to you next about a topic called gate fees. But let me introduce you first. What does it mean? Gate fee is basically a payment that is paid for plastic recyclers like Corsair in Europe and soon other parts of the world as well, where we as a recycler are getting paid to receive this plastic waste raw material. So basically, in other words, just by us taking in the raw material, we're making money. And over the last couple of years, for example, in Europe, these gate fees have typically been ranging from somewhere between 50 euros to 100 euros per ton, per 1,000 kilos. And since new regulations have been coming in effect, which is now today limiting or even stopping exports of plastic waste from European Union to other non-EU countries, it basically means that these gate fees have been increasing very significantly. About a month ago, I actually had the pleasure and the opportunity to meet with some of the government representatives from the country of Croatia, just as an example, where in the previous years, they used to send their plastics to China. During that time, in the last about 30 years, a lot of the plastic waste from the European Union countries were sent over to China, and the Chinese were getting these gate fees. They were getting paid to bring the plastic to their country, which then ended up being dumped or burned or even just simply thrown into the ocean. Since the regulations are now blocking the exports, meaning that plastic can no longer be sent outside of the EU area, but instead it has to be operated within the European Union, these gate fees have now significantly increased. And in the case of Croatia, they are now from the government offering us at Corsair as much as 450 euros per ton, just for us to accept the raw material. Now, Croatia is not alone in this. The same situation is now in more or less every single European Union country. Last night, I had the similar call together with the Italians, and I mentioned to them that even from Rome, garbage is today being sent over to Finland and to the Netherlands to be processed, because in Italy, they don't have the infrastructure of doing that. A couple of weeks ago, it was already now released and announced in France that because of the lack of recyclers and the recycling infrastructure, France is now looking to increase their gate fees to as high as 1,000 euros per ton. This again shows you the direction where we are moving in our business. And also, it shows the increased potential of what we are dealing with. So let me break that down for you as a sort of a very practical example. Corsair brings in 1,000 kilos of plastic waste, for which in Europe and soon in other parts of the world, including North America and even here in Asia in the future, we are now getting paid hundreds of euros, up to 1,000 euros per ton, just to bring in the raw material. From that 1,000 kilos, we are able to generate as much as 900 liters of oil, which we are then able to sell on the markets for a market value of approximately $1 a liter. So this means that because of these gate fees, our business, our revenue, our income from doing the same amount of work is now generating double the income. That's pretty cool. And on top of that, this is not the end. This is not the top. I think we're going to see even higher gate fees in the future, simply because of the fact that there are very, very few companies right now in Europe that are able to do what we're doing. Now, what we've decided to do is, in the same way like we are currently allocating 10% of the oil sales into the CSR buyback program, we are now also going to take 10% of all of these gate fees, and we're going to put those into the buyback program as well. Basically, it means that every single time when Corsair receives plastic into its factories, in this case now in Europe, money goes into the buyback program. Every time when we turn that plastic into oil and we sell the oil to our off-takers, money goes into the buyback program. And as you know, the buyback program currently includes the original CSR and the CSR 25. That's it. Now, because of the very, very limited total amount and circulation of CSR 25, we are going to start to see some interesting movement over there. Keeping in mind that there is actually very, very little of that token in existence. And on the 3rd of January, there will never be another CSR 25 created into that circulation. Not all of them will be yet released, but we will already at that moment be able to look back and see, okay, this is how many tokens will ever be in existence. And from that day onwards, every single week, that distribution, that circulation is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. And with every single new factory, every single new machine, with every single kilo of plastic that we receive into our factories, and every single liter of oil that we sell to our customers, there's going to be more and more demand towards the CSR 25 plastic credit, reducing its circulation every single week to become less and less and less and less. Now, this is something that has never been done before when it comes to digital assets. And I know that it's a weird and it might be a little bit new concept, but I think it makes common sense. If you think about it, it just works. But something like this has never been done before. And the ones of you who understand the mechanism and the movement and how this works, the ones of you who understand it, the ones of you who really figure this out, will be blown away by the opportunity that we have in our hands. Because this is something that when you really get it, you'll realize that there is no ceiling. There is literally no ceiling on how valuable the market value, in this case for CSR 25, can become. There's no ceiling. And with the increased demand for our product, where these plastic manufacturing companies and the oil and gas and petrochemical companies are literally fighting over our product right now, with governments in a panic mode trying to figure out a way to get this plastic waste recycled, and now taking action of paying as much as 1,000 kilos per ton, 1,000 euros per ton, just for us to take the raw material to recycling, shows you the magnitude of the opportunity that we're dealing with. And everybody who is involved and takes action and uses some of these amazing bonuses and campaigns that we have now ongoing still for the next few weeks until we come to the end of the allocation for CSR 25, will be able to take benefit and be part of that future. So therefore, I highly advise you to use this opportunity, use these remaining weeks of the year 2025 into your benefit. As we have seen in the past, the end of the year is many times the single most productive and effective period of time in our business every year. And that I can see happening again this year, exactly like happened last year. So this brings us to the end of our call today. I very much want to thank each and every one of you for being part of this amazing journey, for all of you pioneers that have been with us since the beginning, since launching this company and starting this amazing journey together. But also I want to congratulate all of you new members and all of you who are here today hearing about us for the first time. If you ever in your life wanted to be at a right place at the right time, this is it. Because the best part is that we as a company, when you think about it, just the topics that we spoke here today are now becoming partners in our own digital bank, being recognized at the United Nations, becoming now a public company, approved as an investment opportunity by every single European Union financial authority. And on top of that, now receiving payments in an increased fashion from governments who are desperately in a need for us to do the work that we're doing anyway, every day, increasing our revenue in a significant way. These are the things that are just happening as a part of our business right now. But when you look at this as an opportunity it's very, very difficult to come up with anything better right now. A business where you would have a better opportunity at a better moment in time. And on top of that, what are we doing? We're cleaning our planet from all of this plastic pollution, helping to leave a healthier environment for the future generations. You know, it's 3 a.m. for me here in Thailand right now. And, you know, I'll be honest with you guys, coming into this call, getting up at 1:30 at night, and, you know, getting myself up and getting a cup of coffee and, you know, getting into this call and, you know, yeah, you know, it needs a little self-motivation. And while I was just getting ready for this call, it just came to my mind about how fortunate, how privileged we all truly are, that we are able to do this, many of us, as our full-time job, and to do this as an opportunity that we have now recognized that can change the lives of so many people by us being able to create financial independence through the business that we're involved with. But even more importantly for that, by able to help millions and millions of other people that truly need our help around the world. Some of the people living in the poorest communities on this planet. We are truly privileged to be part of this journey. We're truly privileged to be able to do this every day, even when sometimes you're tired and, you know, you need to motivate yourself to get up and do the work. But we truly are privileged to be part of this. And I know that I am. And if you are here for the first time today, if you are learning about our operations for the first time today, congratulations. You have arrived at the best possible time. Because the reality is that even with all of these developments and everything else the best part is that we're just getting started. We are just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. We are still in the first few pages of this book that we are writing together. We're in the first chapter. It might seem that we're done all this thing and we're so far away. No, this is just the very, very beginning. We're just scratching the surface of what is about to come in the future. So, that being said, I truly want to thank each and every one of you for also taking time in your evening. I value your time very much, and I thank you once again for being part of this amazing journey with us. Thank you very much, and back to you, René.
Thank you so much, Jay, for this amazing presentation. Last week on Vision 25, we had all that news already, and I was really enthusiastic, and you blow my mind away from that kind of news. And now again, when we heard this again for the second time, and it's amazing. And I know for sure what you said, Jay, is that this is amazing opportunity, guys. 2026. If you need to have a choice in your life to make an opportunity, right here we have the opportunity. You can change your life forever in 2026 and so on. And what Jay has mentioned is that we disrupt this market. Jay has done what never ever company has done before. Combined plastic waste converted into oil in combination with network marketing and with the United Nations. I think that's amazing, amazing, amazing. So guys, be prepared for the next coming weeks. I know for sure that we have several calls in the near future as well, Jay, so that we can have more updates from the company like Corsair Group and Corsair Connect as well. From my heart, I will thank you very much for being on this call, Jay. I know it's 3 a.m., so take a cup of coffee and go to bed. And we see each other very, very soon. Thank you all and have a nice evening. And it's an amazing pleasure. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.